All right, so environmental conservation. Our first two slides were covering this a case history of the Great Bear Rainforest, and we had talked about how they were successful in protecting this gigantic um, tract of land, granted in a very inhospitable area. And so this is sort of the theme of the chapter that we're covering now, which is environmental conservation. So protection of land, basically. Now, when we look at the Earth's surface, we see that 60% of the Earth's surface, land surface, is covered in forest or grasslands. But if you really, and that sounds like a lot, right? That does sound like a lot. But when you really start analyzing it, what you realize is that this is mostly in boreal forest, like in central Russia, in very inhospitable areas, or in tropical rainforest where there isn't a whole lot of demand uh, from people who want to live there because it rains literally every day. So we do have a lot of forest, but it's not even, it's not as if they're evenly distributed across the surface of the earth. Basically, what that leaves out is the temperate areas like we live in here in Pennsylvania. The temperate areas do not have nearly as much forest as there was before humans, very rapid human population growth. And another point that is very important in our analysis of forest and wild spaces is how do you define a forest? Well, internationally, a forest is any land that is covered by at least 10% trees. That means many of the suburbs, many of the subdivisions in Cranberry Township would be considered forest. I mean, if you've got 10% trees in your yard, you are a forest. So it's not really what we would necessarily think of as a forest, but that is how, internationally, how a forest is defined. Why do we care? Why, why would we want forest? Who cares, right? Well, it ends up global warming is primarily caused by an increase of carbon gases in the atmosphere. Well, trees are a huge, what we call carbon sink. They store carbon out of the atmosphere as part of their bodies. These large trees can weigh literally thousands of pounds and have thousands of pounds of carbon in them. And they can hold this carbon for hundreds to thousands of years. And so forests are important in controlling global warming,